It is now my honor to introduce Jessica Lewis, who is an accredited Tai Chi instructor and Delaware's only authorized instructor for the federal program Tai Chi for Veterans. She is also a master personal trainer, a certified nutritional counselor, and the founder of a unique lifestyle coaching private practice, Sculpture Life, through which she has been combining various relaxation and meditation techniques with customized exercise routines and nutritional advice for a diverse population of clients all over Delaware and the greater Philadelphia area. She is also the lifestyle coach for one of Delaware's most well-respected functional medicine practitioners. She has facilitated women's wellness weekends in Cape May Point, is an adjunct instructor at Widener University, and conducts live and virtual classes for the American Red Cross, Cancer Support Community Delaware, and Mount Cuba Center. Jessica is particularly devoted to veterans' health and is an active member of the Interfaith Veterans Work Group, the Subcommittee for Military Veteran Suicide Prevention, and Delaware Joining Forces. Above all, she loves teaching veterans the moving mindfulness practice of Tai Chi.
Hello, how is everybody today? I am really, really excited to be here and honored actually to be kind of wrapping up this, wow, now longer than 1 year long home stretch series we've been involved with here. So without further ado, I'm going to turn off my camera and share a little PowerPoint that I have here. You don't really need to see my face while we look at that. Let me pull this up. Of course, it's not cooperating. Hold on here. There we go. Bear with me here. All right, now we'll go. All right, you should be seeing the cover slide here now. Let the train carry your bags. Connections between Tai Chi, veteran, health, and well-being. So in July of 2004, my healthy 72-year-old civilian dad completed suicide with absolutely no warning. Outwardly, he'd always seemed happy. He loved his family, his friends, and church, and led a wildly successful career as a precedent-setting attorney. So his death left everyone with so many questions, deep sadness, of course, and even some shame over having failed to recognize, or more importantly, to help. None of us had any clue if some hideous moral injury had arisen so quickly, it simply shattered Dad's healthy human thinking process, or if he'd been fighting a hard fight completely silently for years. For me, however, a person who at that time was simply committed to my own health and well-being, rather than one who focuses on helping others lead healthy lives, I was also left with the message that life is short. So there's no time to waste getting down to the business of leading a really good life, not just one that feels good, but more importantly, a life that leaves good behind you. So at that moment, I began studying how to teach all aspects of health and well-being, rather than continuing to simply practice on my own. Fast forward to today, however, and people ask me all the time, Jessica, what is it with you and Tai Chi? I mean, why do you teach Tai Chi in addition to fitness and nutrition? Don't you get tired flipping all these hats back and forth on your head? And I always think that the very best way to answer that question is to tell you a popular Hindu fable. One day, a very famous guru was traveling across India on a train when he observed a man literally carrying two overstuffed suitcases. "Young man," the Shri remarked, "you can carry those bags yourself, or you can put them down and let the train carry them for you." And where I'm going with all this is to say that today I'm going to tell you a little bit about an easy and fun way to simply travel lighter, always and in all ways. And then I'm going to show you a little, and of course, I'm going to invite you to play along with me so you can experience a teeny taste for yourself. But of course, in a webinar format, I can't ask for show of hands, but I bet all of you have heard of Tai Chi. It's a pretty common phrase out there these days, right? But what most people don't know is there are many different styles of Tai Chi. They're kind of like siblings with close, loving relationships, since they all stem from Qigong, the father of all energy medicine. And Qigong's roots run pretty deep as well, since it's considered an outgrowth of the I Ching, or the Book of Changes, published way back in 2852 BC. And how do Qigong, all its associated Tai Chi practices, and even modalities like acupuncture work precisely? By improving the flow of energy through the body's meridians. And by the way, we now have definitive proof that meridians exist. A recent study at Seoul National University confirmed that meridians are actually a crucial part of the cardiovascular system. The study used contrast dye and imaging equipment in order to map out the entire premovascular system. But anyway, back to today. And we see that there's really only a single distinction in the way all Tai Chi practices can be categorized. There are those which have what's known as a martial application. In other words, if the hand slices past the face in sort of a slow karate chop motion, it's because there's theoretically a bad guy coming at you from that direction. And then there are those which are simply considered a moving meditation. Now, I actually hold certifications in 3 different styles of Tai Chi, but one style in particular, known as Tai Chi Cha, which, by the way, I teach at least in part 99.99999% of the time, is the only Tai Chi practice which falls solely into the second category. Even more importantly, however, the American Medical Association, the Arthritis Foundation, and the Mayo Clinic have all endorsed Tai Chi Cha specifically as both an evidence-based moving mindfulness practice and a viable drug-free treatment option for a huge, long laundry list of physiological and psychological conditions. So if you're curious to learn more about all this, I urge you to check out the Harvard Medical School Guide to Tai Chi or the CDC's widely published research on the benefits of Tai Chi, or for more information on the current medical studies linking Tai Chi Cha specifically to positive changes in all of the following conditions, visit taichicha.org or tccommunity.net. I mean, look at this long list of conditions, and top of the list, of course, is depression, anxiety, and general stress. Then, of course, there's healthy aging, weight loss, very inflammatory conditions, sleep quality, that's a huge one, balance and activities of daily life, pain relief, peace, and joy seem to go through the roof when people practice Tai Chi Cha on a regular basis. General immune system function, hint, 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 we do live in the age of COVID. Immunity to shingles virus specifically, that's a really interesting study. I've actually chosen not to get the shingles vaccine specifically because of that. And various chronic diseases, including cancer and arthritis. And I do actually teach at the cancer support community, specifically because Tai Chi Cha is so darn good for cancer. But here's where the research gets really interesting. I wonder if any of you out there have ever heard of Dr. Richard Davidson, very famous neurologist. And almost 20 years ago, he and his team at the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin in Madison commenced their now well-known and groundbreaking research on the 4 basic constituents of well-being, which are a sense of resilience, a positive mental outlook, the ability to pay attention, and an attitude of generosity. So thanks to Dr. Davidson, we now have hard science proving that even just a few hours of mindfulness dramatically impacts neuroplasticity. In other words, it rewires your brain, changing the way you think about things, and enhances all 4 constituents of well-being. In other words, those who practice mindfulness of any kind are also learning to be well. So what does that mean in terms of veteran health? Well, there are currently 900,000+ veterans living with PTS and or depression, which are generally considered the leading causes of suicidal ideation. And it's now common knowledge that veterans are at a far greater risk for death by suicide than from combat. Now, there are many schools of thought on why all this is happening, but perhaps it all boils down to the fact that living in a combat zone for only 3 months will absolutely rewire your brain in a completely deadly way. That's why I was absolutely thrilled in September 2019 to be recruited to teach for an innovative and groundbreaking federal program called Tai Chi for Veterans. A direct result of the Mission Act, Tai Chi for Veterans is part of the VA Community Care Network. Now, this part is important. It was designed to extend the reach of the already awesome in-house programming of individual VA medical centers way farther out into the community than ever before possible. And in Delaware, this is particularly relevant since up till now, a single VA medical center has been expected and attempting to meet the needs of every single veteran in the entire state, a ridiculous and Herculean task. And the most beautiful thing about this program is that it provides Tai Chi classes to qualified veterans absolutely free of charge. And I am so honored and grateful to currently be Delaware's only authorized Tai Chi for Veterans provider and instructor. But rather than give you entirely TMI on the program, everybody who knows me pretty well knows I have a tendency to talk way too much. And by the way, if you have any questions, I would be happy to reach out to you afterwards. Just leave your name and your email and your number in the chat, okay? But anyway, I'll just remind you of one pretty well-known fact. The Department of Veterans Affairs really has always been this country's largest government entity, and pretty much by design, it moves and makes decisions and changes pretty slowly. So consider this: for an organization as large as the VET to acknowledge Tai Chi as a treatment option, especially during the current epidemic of veteran mental health issues, means that the research is both overwhelming and irrefutable. So let me turn off my screen share and come back to you here. So what on earth does any of this have to do with the Hindu fable I shared with you a few moments ago? Well, here's the thing. We've all been living with COVID for almost 2 years now, right? Isn't that just about enough said? But even before the pandemic, the entire East Coast already moved at a fever pitch compared to other parts of the US. And there are so many chemical manufacturers in Delaware, some consider the entire state a hotspot. So let's just call a spade a spade. These days, staying healthy and happy is a far greater challenge than ever before, no matter how clean a life you may be leading. But if I leave you with only one thing today, I want it to be this. Perhaps the greatest side effect of practicing Tai Chi with me is that it may just help you travel lighter, even through some of the darkest days of your life. Think of it this way: when was the last time worrying about things that happened long ago or things which may or may not happen in the future ever really helped, right? I mean, don't we all really just want to feel more resilient? Don't we want to be able to see the world with slightly rosier colored glasses? Don't we want to pay closer attention to the little things so we can feel more grateful for all the good stuff we've already got? So why don't I just give you a little taste now of how it feels to let the train carry your bags. And I'm going to switch cameras in a few moments, and some of you will probably recognize my faithful sidekick, Bill, is with me here once again today. Bill is an Army National Guard vet who's been attending my classes for years. So he's learned firsthand that Tai Chi is a great remedy for really severe back and shoulder injuries, plus depressive thoughts. And he'll be facing sideways so you can see the movements from a different angle. And I'm going to be doing the movements mostly from a standing position, but sometimes I'll be doing them from a chair. So I just want you to pick the view that makes the most sense to you and just copy what you see and everything's going to be fine. And just a few more things before we start. So today, like usual, we're going to be doing a little Tai Chi Cha. And I want you to know there is no such thing as bad Tai Chi Cha. Okay. It's all good and it just keeps getting gooder. Now, the only trick to doing it is that you should use the effort of no effort at all. So even just worrying about, am I doing this correctly? That is way too much thought, way too much effort. And I just want you to relax and let go and know that everything is fine. Also remember, Tai Chi Cha is the only style of Tai Chi that's nothing more than moving mindfulness. So by playing along with me today, you'll also be beginning the process of rewiring your brain and learning to travel lighter. And last, but certainly not least, if it all falls apart and you get completely lost, just enjoy the ride. So I'm going to switch cameras now to the best of my ability. You should, yeah, there we go. So you see my friend Bill back there. I'm going to set my timer because I have a tendency to talk and teach long. I'm going to try really hard not to do that. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 20 after. So I'm going to set it for about, I don't know, 30 minutes. And one of the Jennifers will let me know if I'm going way too long. Okay, and I'm going to put on my mask. I'm going to move back. And oh, I also want to share my sounds. Hold on a second. Let me do that. I hope you all can hear some oceans now, and it's pretty clear. All right. So, Bill, do you want to pull your chair up so that we can begin from a seated position? I would really like that if you would do that. That would be great. Okay, good. All right. Okay, perfect. Good. You can see him from the side. All right. So, and I'm starting it this way because I want you all to know that doing Tai Chi Cha from a seated position is absolutely not Tai Chi light. There's nothing deficient about doing it from your chair. And in fact, Tai Chi Cha is one of the most adaptable Tai Chi practices like anywhere. I have worked with people that were partially paralyzed. I've worked with people that have Parkinson's, that had dementia. I've worked with people that had MS, and it can literally be adapted to anything that's going on with your body very, very easily. But let's begin in the chair because some of you are probably zooming in from your office cubicle and maybe you just don't have a lot of footprint, or maybe you have bad knees and you just can't stand up. So let's just figure out how it's done from a chair. So the first thing I want you to do is just feel your body in the chair. And you can do that with your eyes open or closed, unless you tend to zone out when your eyes are closed. If you tend to zone out, keep them open, okay? And in fact, sit a little forward on your chair so that you're in charge of your own spine rather than slumping back against the chair. In the sports and fitness world, we would call this redlining. It means if you were to sit here long enough, you would get a red line where your top of your leg meets your butt. So just feel your sit bones touching the chair. And place your knees directly in front of your hips and place your feet directly under your knees. And place your hands on your legs. Now I really want you to notice the sensations of your sit bones touching the chair. Because what most people don't realize is the sit bones are they're kind of curvy. All right, they're kind of curvy shaped. And if we sat here long enough, they would start to feel uncomfortable because you got the weight of your entire upper body coming down to rest on those 2 points, but they are kind of curvy. So you can very easily allow your body to kind of wobble forward and back a little bit. So just begin to explore the curviness of your sit bones. Let yourself roll forward over them, rolling back, rolling forward a little bit, rolling back. Let's do that one more time. Now let's check in with what's going on in the body when you do that. I want you to put one hand on your belly, sort of halfway between your belly button and your groin, and put the other hand on the small of your back. I don't care if you do it this way or that way. I just want you to feel the curve of your back with your hands. You're going to give yourself a little biofeedback here. So just roll a little forward on those sit bones, and you probably feel the skin under your front hand rounding out a little bit, and you might feel the curve of your back getting curvier. Do you feel that? And then just roll back, and you probably can see Bill illustrating what I'm telling you right now because he's sitting from the side. Let's do that a couple times. Roll forward, roll back, roll forward. Do you also feel your groin kind of tipping down? And do you feel as if you're growing taller a little bit from the top of your head to the base of your groin when you roll forward? And then when you roll back, do you kind of feel yourself shrinking down a little bit? So let's focus on that for a moment. Almost think of your body as like a bellows, like expanding and contracting, a little bit of a bellows. Let's do that together. Roll forward and expand or elongate. Roll back and kind of contract. Good. Roll forward. Roll back. Roll forward. Roll back. Nice. All right, we're going to add the arms here because you know how to flow from the center now. That's what I just taught you, how to flow from the center. In Chinese, we would call this big ball of energy that resides in the gravitational center of the body the Dan Tian. In fact, all ancient practices believe that we have this sort of energetic heart, sort of halfway between the front and the back of you, and sort of about halfway between the belly button and the groin. And actually, all the ancient cultures have similar names for this phenomenon, which the Chinese call the Dantian. The Japanese call it the Tanden. The Koreans call it the Dan. The Latins called it the core, C-O-R, and the French turned that word into coeur, C-O-E-U-R, which means heart. Interesting, huh? So this ball of energy kind of resides sort of kind of where the female uterus resides, which is a very creative spot, by the way. All right, so now we know how to flow from the Dantian or from the center. We're going to add some arms. So just imagine you've got a big round platter out in front of you, just about the height of your heart, and it's about as big as you can reach your arms around. Okay, so just put your arms up around there to see how big your own individual unique platter is, and make sure that it's round. Okay. All right, now I want you to place your left foot out just a tiny little bit, like an inch or two. It's just sort of a metaphor. When we stand up and do this movement, you're going to see why we did this. Okay. Now put your hands in the back of the platter. You can even imagine that you have a little ball of energy underneath each hand and the balls are on the platter. Okay. Now, as you allow your Dantian, your center, your core to expand and you flow forward, your hands are going to flow out over that left foot. And as you contract, your hands are going to get pulled back. let the expansion and contraction of what's going on in here send your hands out and pull them back. So here we go. Let's begin. This movement is called around the platter. Nice. Just feel your torso expanding and contracting. And allow yourself the luxury of flowing smoothly and softly and circularly. Or you could substitute the word continuously. Now, Bill will tell you that I'm a horrible counter. It's true. It's really one of my two strongest deficiencies as a teacher. I talk long and I'm a horrible counter. But I think this next one coming up is 9. So we're going to do just one more with your left foot out. And then you're simply going to flow back down to rest. Just pulling that left foot back in and just feeling the body resting in the chair for a few moments. And then we're going to do the other side. We almost always do everything that we do on one side on the other side, both to add balance to your life and to balance your life. All right? So here we are doing around the platter with your right foot out. But anyway, back to the ways that we move when we do this particular style of Tai Chi. Softly, smoothly, circuitously, slowly. That's important. Flowing from the center, which is in a constant flux between expansion and contraction. The reason why we do Tai Chi that way is because that's the way the universe works. I just actually named all the governing principles of the universe. Ask a physicist if you don't trust me. That is the case. I think we've got 2 more here. And we're going to do 1 more. And when we're done, we're going to simply sink back down to rest and feel the body resting for a moment. And then let's begin with another movement. Let's place the left foot out once again. And you probably already also figured out one of the reasons why Tai Chi is so easy to learn is because there are moments of motionlessness in between each one of the movements. So you don't need to get all wrapped up in, oh my gosh, I have to do things in a certain order. I can't do movement number 5 unless I know movements 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can mix it all up if you want. You can just do the ones you like. You can just do the ones you remember. It is truly the most adaptable thing I have ever encountered. Now we're going to do a slight variation on around the platter. So here we go. We're going to begin to move and then just lift the fingers and then let them go again. You're going to lift them pretty much in front of the shoulder on the left side till you've got a ball between your hands. And then just guide it off the front edge of the platter. The wrists stay on the platter, but the fingers just lift. Nice. And this, of course, is called, you probably guessed it, around the platter variation. This is not rocket science. All right. Nice. We're going to do 2 more. And we're going to call that 9. Last one on this side. And then flow back to rest. Just pause long enough to feel the body resting. And then let's move on to the other side. There's another way in which Tai Chi really accords quite beautifully with the laws of physics, especially fluid dynamics, right? We actually know from Einstein's theories that time and space speed up and slow down, they bend, depending on what they are encountering, right? Just like rivers. Water flows very differently in a stream, depending on whether or not it's flowing through a deep channel or rocky shoals, white water. The water that's closer to the rock, when it's tending to split around the rock in the middle of the white water, actually speeds up, right? Bill's confirming that because he's a rafter. We're going to do one more on this side. So when we come to rest in Tai Chi, this is what's known as bound flow. We're simply letting the energy we just kicked up in our bodies come to rest in the marrow of the bones, the cradle of the immune system. But we're also building up energy in order to move again. And when we're actively moving, that's called lambent flow, right? So Bill just gave me the signal to stand up. I'm going to stand up. Here we go. If you want to continue doing these movements from a seated position, though, now you know how. All right, let's find the rest position from a standing position, however. Okay, in fact, I'll tell you what, let your hands hang. Let your hands hang. Let's do a little Qigong, actually, to find the rest position for everybody. Has their own unique rest position. So let your knees really elongate and let your weight shift to the balls and toes of the feet. And let your knees soften and feel the weight spreading back and out to the outside margins of both your feet. You can see a little space between my legs when I do that. Let your knees elongate and shift forward. Let your knees soften as you shift back. Begin to feel that bellows effect as your whole body elongates and as you contract. Feel that a couple times here. And find a comfortable spot where you can stand all day long without any stress in your knees, but still feel your weight completely spread out across the soles of both your feet. Let's do that one more time. Now we're going to get the hands involved. We have to find a place for them to rest. So imagine there's an invisible puppeteer up there, and he's just going to lift the hands up as with a string. And then we're going to let them float back down again. So here we go. As you elongate, let the hands be lifted. And as you contract, let them float down until they come to a natural resting spot again. Nice. One more time. Just feel the body resting in whatever comfortable rest position you decided works for you. What we just did is actually not part of the Tai Chi practice. I just like to do it to help people find their rest position. And you can't tell because I have a mask on, but I'm smiling now because this just feels so good. If you practice this on a regular basis, it just makes you happy. All right, so let's do around the platter standing, okay? We're going to sink down a little lower, and you might actually see Bill's tailbone tucking under a little bit more, okay, when that happens. Now, while the tailbone's tucked and you're sunk down, shift all of your weight into your right leg. I mean, all of it, all of it. And when you're really in that right leg, you should be able to extend the left leg without any effort. Just the heel will just land wherever it wants to land. We're not stepping out. We're just extending the knee, okay? Now remember where your platter is. Put your hands up at the back. And as we glide forward, the hands will go out over the left leg and back over the right one. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Now, if you're really body conscious, you're going to notice all kinds of expansions going on all over your body when you flow forward, and all kinds of contractions going on when you flow back. Feel your rear leg expanding absolutely till the knee is totally elongated. And then the front leg expands. Nice. Now, I'm not going to go over the minutiae of all the little things that are happening in the body, because remember, there's no such thing as bad Tai Chi. And in a format such as this, that would probably be not the most valuable use of our time. I just want to give you a taste of traveling lighter today. And I think this next one is number 9. So we're going to flow back to rest. Just stand up on the rear leg and float down until you feel yourself resting comfortably. And then let's do the other side. Sink and shift over. Extend the empty leg, even if you get your legs confused. And now around the other side. Nice. This is great. I promise I'm not going to talk so much throughout the rest of the movement. Let's just experience it. You probably just heard me sigh. There's actually no precise breathing technique for almost all the Tai Chi Chuan movements. But I do notice that I often begin to sigh very heavily when I practice because I relax. When was the last time you were very tense and sighed at the same time? I don't think they can be simultaneous. Let's do one more and we'll call it 9. Back to the soles of the feet. Just feel them touching the ground for a moment. And by the way, when you're feeling your feet touching the ground, you're getting your head out of your head. Energy follows thought. There's less energy for the monkey up there when you're thinking about the soles of your feet. Let's do around the platter variation from a standing position. Here we go. Sink down, shift over, extend the empty leg. And there we go. Nice. Wonderful. This really is going to end up being just a taste because I talk so much today. And you're only going to get to see a couple movements, and that's okay. I'll tell you what, we'll only do 6 on this side. Last one. Other side. So I just illustrated another way in which Tai Chi Chuan is so user-friendly. If you don't have time to do the full practice, which by the way only consists of about 20 movements, it's shorter than some Tai Chi practices. That also makes it very user-friendly. You can always just shorten up the number of reps of each movement. Let's call this 6. And then just flow back to the soles of the feet. Nice. Let's switch gears completely. I want to make sure that I get to show you some of the most popular, well-loved movements of all time, okay? Let's do passing clouds. Oh, that one's going to be great. Now, good. I was going to say Bill might have to play around with his positioning so he doesn't whack his knuckles on the wall. Okay, so now, here we go. We're going to begin by feeling the feet touching the floor. That's the best place to start. We're going to sink down a little deeper. We're going to shift to the left. And then we're going to turn the upper body to the left as well. And you're going to know that that happened if your left shoulder goes backwards a little bit, or if your right shoulder goes forwards a little bit. Did you notice that? Okay. Then put the left hand up. If there were a wall over there, it would be as if I'm going to high five the wall. All right. I'll tell you what, we're going to do this one hand at a time. You can even let your other hand just hang down. Okay. Now let your empty leg move out to the side without any effort. Just lengthen the leg and put the heel down wherever it wants to go. And as we shift that direction, it's going to pull the left hand along for the ride. Nice. Nice. How many people here have seen The Karate Kid? No lie, I think The Karate Kid is probably why I studied karate for so many years. I almost got my second black belt before I had to stop. Anyway, this is a lot like wax on, wax off, what I'm about to show you. Let's do one more with just one hand. I'll let the hand just flow down. Okay, this guy's gonna rest. We're gonna go back to the other side and high five the other wall with your right hand. And let's remind the right hand how to do this move. Nice. I love this move because I always imagine my fingers are dredging through chocolate down here and then I get to lick them on the way back. Nice. All right, we're going to let the right hand rest. And we're going to keep on shifting back over to the left. And we're going to put it all together. Remember what I said to you. If your arms and legs get confused, just enjoy the ride. I always tell my Tai Chi for veteran students, if your arms and legs get confused, just enjoy the carousel ride. The VA paid your admission. They bought your ticket. Just enjoy the carousel ride. And this is the movement that you saw me doing in that video I showed you a little while ago where I was leading a large crew of people. Isn't it beautiful? This is called passing clouds. And we're going to do just one more set here, and we're going to end by moving back the way you came and float down to the soles of your feet. Feel them touching the ground. Let's do carry the ball to the side. So it's just like the one we just did, only instead of independent arms, the hands are going to move together, okay? And I'm going to change the way we do it a little bit because I don't want to walk off the camera and I don't want to walk into Bill. And you all might be in your cubbies anyway, so we want to keep the footprint of this small, okay? All right, feel the body resting. Sink down a little lower and shift all the way to your right leg and then turn the upper body to the right. You're going to know that that happened because your right shoulder is going to go back. And just put your right hand up like you're going to wave. Put your left hand in front of it like you're holding a ball about the size that you did when you did around the platter variation. Now let your empty left leg just sort of sneak away from the body. Let the heel just go where it wants to go. And now we're going to start to glide that direction. Nice. See, same movement as passing clouds, only the hands are together now, right? We're just going to do 6 rotations like this. Keep it short. And this is our 6th one. So just stand up on your left leg and float down. And now let's go back again. Sink, shift, turn, raise the hands, empty heel out, and here we go. Nice. Nice. This is going to be our last one. Just stand up on the right leg and float down. Feel the body resting. I think I actually want to close today by doing the movement that we often do as a warm-up for the whole practice. Let's do rocking motion, because it's super easy for people that have knees that are giving them trouble. So even if you think you can't stand to do Tai Chi Chuan, I bet you can do rocking motion from a standing position. If you can't, just do it in the chair like I showed you earlier. All you're going to do is step out with your left foot a little bit. Now straighten out your toes. We're going to shift forward and back, but with both feet parallel now. Now send all your weight to the rear, and that's just a question of lengthening the knees and putting your hands back there. And now we're simply going to flow forward and flow back. Nice. There's actually 4 directions for this movement. There's back, and then a little up in the rear, and then down and forward, and a little bit up when you come all the way to the front of your legs and lengthen the knees. But it's just a question of doing what you did at the very beginning when we were trying to figure out how to stand in the rest position. Just soften the knees and lengthen them. Feel them contract and expand. And if you have bad knees, this is the no pain zone. Just adjust. Nice. And if you're looking at Bill from the side, he's doing such a good job. He always does. Notice that nice arc shape that his fingers are drawing in the air. And see if you can imagine your feet are kind of like runners on your grandma's old-fashioned rocking chair. And you're just rocking to the rear and the toes lift, and then rock to the toes and the heels lift. You don't need to lift them. You know, when you rock all the way to the front of the rocking chair, the rear of the runners lift themselves, and vice versa. We're going to do 2 more. We did a lot more than 9. This next one coming up is going to be our last one. So you're just going to flow back the direction you came from. And then float back down to rest. Just take the time, enjoy the feeling of your feet touching the ground. Even if you didn't learn anything else today except how to find your own personal rest position and how to feel your feet touching the ground, you're still rewiring your brain. All right. I'm going to switch cameras now and coming back to the screen. So let's do that. Let's kill the share. Hello. Oh my word. So how did you all like that? Be honest. Put it in the chat. You can even say, I found that a little confusing. But I'll bet you that it was the easiest confusing thing you've encountered in a long time, right? Okay, all right. So I want to share my screen one more time. Let me turn off my video and go back to the PowerPoint here. Let's see, share my screen. There we go. All right. I have no idea how I came back here. Oh, I was showing you more pictures of my classes. Wait, here's Bill. Here he is, my good friend, and a member of our subcommittee on suicide prevention, Tom Davis, a longtime student. And here's a shot from one of the classes I teach outside, and people zoom in. I have all kinds of gear with me when I'm there. It's safe, it's beautiful. That particular spot is the first national monument to veterans of all branches of service who have lost their lives just since 9/11, and it's in little old Claymont, Delaware. Isn't that stunning? But here's the spot on my website where you can learn all about the classes. I don't have any new classes posted right now, but that will be updated soon. So just keep your eyes peeled, or you can drop down to the bottom of this or any page on my website and shoot me an email or ask to be added to my emailing list, and I'll be happy to keep you abreast of any upcoming classes. And here is the page where you can read all about the Tai Chi for Veterans program, plus even watch a complete silent Tai Chi practice so you can really see for yourself how easily all this can be. And you can even jump right to my complete class schedule from there as well. So I'm going to stop my share now. And if it's okay with you all, let's open up the floor to some questions. And again, feel free to put your full contact information in the chat, okay?
And in the chat box, you have a few comments. One person said, that was great. Another one said, great, feels like you can't really do it wrong. And then the last person said, that was brilliant and flowed very gently. Thank you, Jessica.
Well, Michael is one of my longtime students, and he's from the UK, and they use the word brilliant the way we use the word awesome. So I don't think it was quite brilliant, but I'm glad Michael liked it. He's a great guy. I love working with him. A veteran from the UK.
I do have a question. So if a person is interested in learning more about the practice of Tai Chi, do you have any recommendations in terms of research and also just learning the movements?
Sure. I mean, okay, when was the last time you heard any sentences in the last 2 years begin with what I'm about to say? The good thing about COVID is I have a huge quantity of information on my YouTube channel and on my website now. I got really serious about putting good content online. So I have literally met lots of people in the last 2 years that swear they learned how to do Tai Chi from doing it with me on my YouTube channel, which is free and available 24/7. So that's a good start. If you Google Jessica Lewis or Sculpt Your Life, spelled the way you'd expect to spell it, usually I'm the very first thing that pops up, any combination of those things. But of course, after this webinar is over, the PowerPoint will be available on the Mental Health Association of Delaware's website in perpetuity. So you'll be able to see all the addresses of everything that I put up on the screen today. And there is a ton of research out there on the viability of Tai Chi for pretty much every mental and physical condition out there can be improved with a little practice of Tai Chi. Some people think things can even be warded off or cured. You know, everybody's experience is their experience, and I never doubt anybody's experience. But there's so much good information out there anymore about Tai Chi. As I said, I have 3 different certifications, so you can even get certified online anymore. You don't have to do it live with a person.
Great, thank you. And you have another question. The person asked, would this also apply to other disciplines other than veterans, such as first responders?
That's a really good question. My husband is a volunteer firefighter. One of my best friends from birth was a very highly decorated law enforcement officer. I have always wanted to offer this for free to first responders, but typically they don't show up. I don't know what that's about. That's a whole other conversation. But right now, the program is only being paid for through the VA Community Care Network for veterans, but there are a lot of veterans who are also first responders. So you could go that route. But certainly, these are not the only classes that I teach. I've been teaching for years and years and years, and I have a lot of students. So again, just go to my events page on my website. You'll see what the current class structure is. And if I don't have a class that meets your needs, there are now 8 other instructors in Delaware that were all one time my students, and now they're teachers too. So I can set you up with somebody else.
Awesome, thank you. And then the last question, they're asking if there is a virtual veterans class. So just to confirm, do you offer both virtual and in-person classes?
Yes, actually my Monday class, which currently meets at 11, but will be shifting to noon as of the 1st of February. On Mondays is virtual only. It used to be held live at a VFW down the street from me, but when COVID happened, it just seemed like a better idea to just go completely virtual. The class on Wednesdays, which is currently at 3:15 p.m., but will probably be shifting to 6 or 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights after the 1st of February, is a blended learning opportunity. So you can come live if you want to come to Claymont, or you can Zoom in. It's always safe, no matter what option you choose to use. If the weather is nice, we're outside next to that incredibly gorgeous national monument. If the weather is inclement, we go into a huge open hall underneath the church right next door, which is Holy Rosary, right on Philadelphia Pike. It's on the National Registry. It's beautiful. And there's tons of space. It's very, very safe. I've got students that have been coming live to my classes for 2 years, and no one has ever gotten sick as a direct result. But of course, there's always a Zoom option too.
Great, thank you. And Jen, so share the Scope Your Life webpage, like the link in the chat for everyone to access. And we are close to hitting the 1 p.m. mark. Do you have any last words for us?
I don't. I'm just very, very grateful and again, honored to have been asked to do this for everybody. And you know what? We're heading into a tough time of year. Why not have a few more tools in your toolbox for resilience? It's easy. You know, if people are bugging you at Christmas time, just step into the bathroom and do a little rocking motion. I've been known to do it in the ladies' room at the airport when I don't feel like teaching people out, you know, in public, and I need a little space. So it's very, very portable. It's very user friendly. So thank you again for your time and your attention.
Great, thank you. I personally really enjoyed it, and I can tell that the participants also enjoyed it. So thank you, Jessica, for sharing your time and knowledge with all of us. On behalf of the Delaware Suicide Prevention Coalition Military Committee, we thank you all for joining us today. Just as a reminder, a survey will pop up on your screen momentarily. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to complete it. For 2022, the Homestretch series will be continued in a different format and will be called Heading Home. More information will be available soon. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.